In Frieren, characters are built around a team. Stark is a punching bag, Ubos is crazy, Frieren dresses like tax paperwork, but then we have Methode, a woman named Methode, who spends half her screen time yearning for cute Lady, stop yearning! But somehow all the contradictions and paradoxes, it actually makes perfect sense for her name, with just a pinch of psychology. From season 1, we already knew, that when this girl gets more screen time, anime fans are gonna lose their minds. And part of it is obvious. Ona has an energy, physical advantage. We know how entertainment works. We've seen this game before. But luckily this is the Frieren series, so it's always more than just about, fan service. Because we already have Frieren for that.
Oh, bro!
What separates Methode from other characters in Frieren is the paradox of the name, Methode. Even Genau said it himself in episode 6 season 2. The word that represents Methode is unusual. In Frieren, mages usually specialize in something. No, not even mages. Every character in Frieren has a team. Frieren is a collector, or a troll depending on how you wanna look at her. Frieren is a fundamentalist. Himmel is dead. Serie is a little tsundere with zero self-awareness. And usually that theme is reflected in their design as well. For example, Ubel. She's just crazy, right? Her eyes look crazy, her outfits are straight up questionable. I mean, you go out using that? Her smile's crazy, she's just nuts. And Frieren is also the same, her outfits are brick fashion. She doesn't reveal too much emotions. But Methode, she's built different. On one hand, her name is Methode, meaning method. People would expect a more serious character. But instead, what we get is the physical attractiveness of a goddess, yet she has the hobby of a warlord, a mage that, for some reason, can use a god's blessing. And also a person that often looks really in control, but also like, oh, I'm going to savor this! She's unusual, hot, nerdy, and full of surprises. Truly an otaku magnet. But what makes it worthy of analyzing is that all that contradiction isn't there just for the sake of her being different. Because this is how all of those paradoxes converge. And it all comes up through her master. I believe that there are two main reasons why Serie appointed Methode to the Northern Plateau. First, there's the obvious reason, of course. Methode religious fighting and she's good enough to handle dangerous situations. Really basic, of course. But second, I just think all the padding kinda messed her head a little. Look, just think about it. Serie chose Methode as Genau's new partner. But if Serie really meant what she said to Genau, keeping edgy, keep calling other people fraud, that's what keeps you alive, I don't think Methode is a correct answer. Because if we look at psychology, like legit psychology, especially the psychology of decision making, Methode is what I call an anti-edgy machine. Let me explain. So in the Frieren series, characters' names, they mean something. Frieren means freeze, Himmel means heaven. These names, they represent this character's theme pretty well. But isn't it weird that this chick's name is just Methode? What you expect when you hear method is maybe more about orderliness, analytical, efficiency, a means to an end. But actually, this is how I think it connects. Methode isn't weird despite being analytical. She's actually weird because she's analytical. It's just that what she wants also includes funny, fluffy things. Like a normal human being with a healthy dose of honesty. And the fact is, this is actually closer to how real humans work. Let's dive a little to the psychology of decision making. At this point, I believe that the biggest enemy of the science of human nature is just quotes. Nice guys finish last. Something about winning from Blue Lock. Oh no. And related to this topic, the usual quote is something like, your emotion doesn't matter. Honestly, it's like suddenly you're joining the alpha male bootcamp or something. So the premise is, you put down those pesky emotions because they don't matter, apparently, and then you make a better decision. Honestly, not that I don't get it. Of course, it's because of the assumption that you can't just make swift decisions when you're being emotional. And Professor Monye is here, ladies, gentlemen, happy to announce that it's fake news, nonsensical and harmful one. You see, emotion is a vehicle of important informations. Meaning, when people shoot down these vehicles, they just miss a bunch of informations. Heck, most people can't even make decisions without emotions, because the act of decision making itself stops being matter to them. And if it's not clear enough right now, making decisions while shooting down these messengers, these emotions, it results in bad decisions. But that's not all, because those emotions they ignore, they're definitely gonna catch up. And it's all because some people just can't move on from these tough guy quotes. What an insult to psycho. So for a method to exist, it needs an objective. It's just that for some people, and also in Methode's case, these objectives are filled with worldly desires. I think you get what I'm going with this. Methode is the perfect person for Genau to learn from. Genau, an edgy guy who can never be honest with his feelings. Let's put him next to Methode, someone who feels things, says things, is honest about it, and still makes smart decisions. So basically, Serie unknowingly made Genau shut his edgy trap. It's like a mom saving her edgy son from countless colossal regret. And also, you know the one person in Frieren who operates almost exactly like this? I think we can agree that Frieren and Serie represents different personal values. In case of Serie, Serie loves talent, but what she loves more than talent is talent with a certain gritty attitude, some level of edginess. I don't know why Serie haven't grown up from that phase already, but you know what, you do you, Serie. It's like when she talked to Philbell, she was like, this is Christmas or something. Because Philbell, he had that attitude. I punch kittens, and I still sleep well at night. And Serie loved it. But when it comes to Methode, it's more like, fine, you pass. But it's not like we can blame her, of course. I'm sure Lord why she has her own reasons, obviously. But also, this philosophy that Serie likes so much also makes her to be this grumbling granny that doesn't have an ounce of self-awareness. It's like that time when she talked to Frieren. Oh, Frieren, I don't know why I remember each of my student favorite spell. Yeah, I wonder why. So in another word, from what we've discussed before, Serie shoots the messenger. And that's the thing about Serie. Serie spends the whole series being this talent scout with an edgy aesthetic. But the moment an actual feeling pokes its head out, she walks away. And it's so typical as well, because that's how Asian dudes that grew up in traditional Asian culture work. AKA me. That's how my habitual response work. And honestly, that's how a lot of us, my kind, my people, that's how we work. Let's pretend these emotions have no value. Or better, let's pretend that it's only a pesky obstacle. But Methode does the exact opposite of this, which is wild because Methode is objectively more chaotic than Serie. We've seen this woman make Serie cower in fear from the power of friendship. Methode doesn't dismiss what she feels. She naturally follows it. She's just a cute elf, and instead of suppressing it, she just pursues it. Honestly, transparently, almost embarrassingly. These feelings, they are not the problem. They're actually the starting point. And I want to be Serie's unlicensed therapist here for a second. If I wanted to rescue her from being permanently edgy, the main thing is just to guide her to ask why on her emotions. Let's look at emotions as what they actually are. Emotions are clues. They always lead somewhere. Oh, I remember all my apprentice's favorite spell, even though it has been years. Why? Oh, some of my students don't think like me, but I set them anyway. Why? And actually, look at Frieren herself. She cried at Himmel's funeral, didn't even know why at first. She just cried there in confusion. And what is the entire Frieren series if not Frieren slowly asking herself that exact question? Why? Why did that hit me so hard? Why do I remember his stupid poses? And the answer, it turns out, is everything. That's what happens when you actually follow the feelings instead of shooting it. Isn't that the point of the Frieren series? It's not just a fantasy road trip with pretty animation, it's a show about characters slowly connecting the dots on why they feel and act a certain way. About them asking why in their own ways. what those feelings mean in the past, what they mean now, and what they'll carry into the future. And somehow, we can trace that entire argument from a side character with an obscure name, Methode.